All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Master Media Design online presentation. I'm very happy to be tonight with Maria Sarafi, who is a first-year student, and Shakir Ali, who I think just joined. Where is Shakir? Maybe Shakir. Oh, okay. Let me try to get Shakir to join because now he's as an attendee. Sorry about this. Here you go. He can be a presenter now. All right. So wonderful. Okay, let's start. I will share my presentation and let me see. Okay, I hope Shakir is okay, but I'm sure I'll join at some point. All right, so here is the presentation. So the idea is that I will present for roughly 15 minutes, and then Maria and Shakir will also share the experience as students in the program. And then I will share some more practical information. And at the end, we'll have time for question. But in the meantime, if a question pops in your mind, feel free to write it in the chat, and we'll be happy to answer it. All right, so what is master media design? And I want to say that we are basically changing or updating, I will say, the program as the field is very much changing rapidly at the moment. So what I'm going to present is a new format for media design starting in December 2026. Are my slides changing, Maria? Is it working? Should be okay.
Yes.
Okay, great. So what is media design? Media design is a master's program, 2 years, full-time, and we basically teach a diversity of tools and mediums, as well as a diversity of approaches within the field of emerging technologies. These are some examples of projects that we did in the past. So Master Media Design is very much a research-led design program where we really want to explore our relationship with technology today and tomorrow. So we do like to take, I will say, a more near-future approach to imagine what will be the impact of emerging technologies on societies, on our everyday life, and we do that through different projects and processes. And I think our main goal here is to teach our students how to design interaction for emerging futures. And I do want to say that while technology is a big part of the program, such as teaching you technical skills, a big part of the program is also about teaching you methodological tools and processes, such as doing field research or observing how people use technology to be able to innovate within the field. And as I said, throughout the 2 years, our students really get to explore a variety of medium and type of projects, from approaches that are more low-tech, narrative, critical, or more applied. And what do our students get to design in the course? So for example, this is a diploma project from 2024 from Amaury Amou, where he imagined a new ways of discovering content online. So he created a very, I will say, more experimental type of interface, web interface. Other students decide to really speak to a specific audience. This was a diploma project by Ares Pedroli, where he invented an application for type designers to be able to hunt for typographies around them. We also teach how to use code to visualize phenomenon. This is a project from Creative Coding from Peter A. and Tara Ashler, where they use data from the Geneva airport to visualize the migration of birds. And some of our students, as I mentioned, like to take a more low-tech approach. This was a diploma project from 2024 by Fausse Perriot, where she imagined she basically repurposed a lot of, we'll say, discarded electronics to create a new type of game console, where you will like to play plants, and it's very fun. As you plug things, the plant evolve. It's a whole thing where the game is basically working in with the console design. They also get to create more, I will say, rapid prototyping type of experiences, where, you learn electronics, and also you learn how to create innovative and interesting experiences by using recycling parts. That's a workshop we do each year with Benjamin Gollon. And also a big part of it, I will say, we are very interested in creating new type of connected object, of interactive object. And I think when we see all the innovation happening in robotics, this is definitely very contemporary. This was a project we did with Caran d'Ache, where students imagine a way to play with color palettes. So you will create your own color palette by catching colors around you. But you might wonder, what is interaction design? Maybe you are interested in the field, but you don't really know what it is. I'm not going to go into like a very lengthy definition, but I thought it was important to give a few, at least a beginning of a definition. And I think the way we see it in media design is that interaction design is very much about shaping how we live with technology. And I will say that our approach within the course of interaction design, because it's a big field and there are many interpretations of it, is that we like to go beyond screen and traditional interfaces. So it is true that we are not a traditional UX UI course, and I think it's important that you're aware of that we like to take, as I said, a more experimental and research-led approach to imagine those new forms of interaction with emerging technologies for the near future. So why would you want maybe choose this path? And maybe Maria and Shakir can say a bit more about this later. But what I think is very interesting about interaction design is that you can apply those skills in many different fields. It allows you to develop critical thinking around emerging technologies, but also around how to do research, how to understand how people relate to technology. We do a lot of creative experimentation. It gives you a foundation of technical skills and how to do research. And as I mentioned earlier, yes, we do teach technical skills, but it's not the only thing. And that's very important to understand that, because I think we are looking for people who are interested in trying out different methodologies, and especially within the field of observation and ethnography. And I think our methodology is very based on field research, going outside of the school, of the classroom, observing people, observing specific areas in the city, or sometimes we even go in the mountain. So we used to go to Chamonix quite a lot. All the class have problem-based learning. So it's, we teach in block, and it's not through exercises, but you really have to respond to a brief. We work with many partners. Novel combination, we like to have a narrative and poetic approach to technology. Take in use. So sometimes you have a 5 days focused workshop, but you get to really discover a technical skills, and design strategy, which is a new module that we will add next year, which will help students to understand where interaction design fits within the production pipeline of a product or an interface. I will say this is more linked to the industry. But if you join media design, and I'm sure Shakir and Maria can say a lot about this, you do need to enjoy prototyping and testing a lot. Before jumping into tech and learning how to code, for example, we ask you to prototype your ideas and test them in paper and do a lot of iteration. And that's fundamentally what interaction design is about. It's really about understanding context, understanding how people use technology, and iterate until you find an interesting solution. Sometimes the project look like this, until they become something else, something more finished. Sometimes they look like this, trying to experiment with electronics, trying to basically visualize what is your project about, and trying to be a great quick prototyper to test your idea before jumping into the finished project. And sometimes the project looks like this, they could be quite fun and experimental, but that allows us to understand a lot of what needs to be improved in terms of interaction, product design, and so on. We organize testing days where students get to test their projects. It's often between the first year and second year, but it also can be with also external partners. And also a part of the course where we have theoretical seminar that allows you to really develop more critical thinking around technology, but also to understand the historical perspective of technology and why they're the way they are and how we use them today. So starting next year, this will be our 5 pedagogical pillars. Well, as I mentioned, we really want to go beyond the screen. So it's going to be a lot about thinking interaction through movement and physical experience, everything related to human and AI interaction, so multimodal. So what does it feel and look like to create object that speaks back, that could have a voice, can have vision, or maybe even gestures? The future of web will be exploring web technologies to create new type of interfaces. So we're not going to teach you traditional web design because, I think when you come to a master's program, you want to go beyond traditional format, but we're going to teach you web tools to imagine new type of interfaces. Limited resources, this is what I mentioned, where we have a workshop throughout the year when we imagine how to create innovative experiences with low-tech resources, and design strategy that is more linked to the industry and really understanding the broader production and the decision-making process when you create a connected product. As I mentioned, we do a lot of collaboration. So I think if you join the class, you have to be I think you need to be curious to also work with different partners. This year we collaborated with Chanel and we also collaborated with the museum. And I think it's important for me as a head of a program for our students to experience all those different kind of contexts to understand where do they want to work later. So this is a list of partners we had in the past, and as you can see, it's quite broad, from festival to the library, Carandache, CNRS, which is a big research lab in Paris, and so on. As I mentioned, we collaborated with Carandache, where we imagine the future of drawing with AI. We also collaborated with Graduate Institute, where the Institute asked us to think about the future of voting with AI. So AI is quite the thing at the moment. So a lot of people come to us, but we really try to approach this subject beyond the hype and really think about the ethical implication of using those tools. And that was the focus of this workshop, for example. We also sometimes work for events. This was the Grand Prix de l'Horlogerie, which is a big prize here in Geneva for watches. And our students had to create interactive installation that will tell time in a poetic way. And we participate and organize events. Maybe some of you have seen our YouTube channel, where each year we upload a discussion with creative technologists and designers. We also organize a longer format, and the teaching team participate in a lot of conferences as well to promote what our students do in the program. And this is a quick information around the program structure. A quick first year and second year overview. The first year is all about foundations and exploration. In the first semester, we start with introducing interaction design and also understanding creative coding and the future of web. So how do you use the web tools to imagine new type of interfaces. And the second semester is more about going beyond the screen and embodied interaction. So how do you teach a machine to respond to you? How does that look like? How does that feel like? And also to build a space. So this could be, for example, in XR or any or more augmented reality type of medium. And the second year is all about positioning and your diploma, where we really help you to find your direction. You get to write your master thesis, and then in the last semester, you get to create your diploma project, and really also you have modules to help you learn how to communicate about it and how to position it within the field. So I'm going to give you some example because it can look quite abstract, I know. The first semester, the first module, so Introduction to Interaction Design. This was a project we've done, and Shakir will tell more about it, with CNRS, which is an important research lab in Paris. And the theme was soft robots, and they wanted us to create new type of robots beyond the anthropomorphized vision of the robots that we see. And how would they look like? How would they interact? What would be the usage? And our students created everything from the prototype to the field research. So this module really shows you how to create an interactive product from the research phase to the first prototype phase. And that's what, I showed this slide to kind of really emphasize that we're going to spend a lot of time doing research, understanding context, trying out different things, different prototyping. So I think if you join the course, you really need to like to iterate and trying out different solutions. And in the semester 2, this is more the XR module. And here, this is a collaboration we've done with the Paraplegic Center here in Switzerland, where they ask us to think about inclusive VR experiences for the patient. Because sometimes when you have to learn to live in a new body, if you had an accident or something happened to you, all the experiences sometimes felt very childish or didn't really feel, I will say, didn't really correspond to the patient. So they ask us to think about a solution, and our students really spend time with the center, try to imagine inclusive solution with minimal gestures, because those people, we are learning to live in their new body. And one of the project actually was nominated for the Design Swiss Prize. So this is an example of the So here again, while our students now learn Unity and how to create a VR project, a lot of time was spent also in the narration, in the visual direction, and also understanding the need of the patients. Semester 3, which is in second year, this is the module 5, so the last module of the 2 years where you get to focus on your diploma project. Oh no, sorry, this is actually the module right before it, where we invite a practitioner to kind of help you strengthen your skills within the field. This was a workshop done with Tim Rodenbrocker this year. And this is the last semester of the 2 years where you get to develop your diploma project. And we are very open to a diversity of approaches. Your project can be more narrative driven, can be critical, can be applied. As long as you're aware that this is the positioning you want, we're definitely going to follow you and help you, make it happen, I guess. This is the project from Basile Brun called Créatune. This is a new type of synthesizer made of quirky little objects that will create music out of the data that it will gather in the field. This is another project by Sarah Mellon, a diploma project where she imagined science. It's more like a participating science project around lichen. And another one from Tibor Udvari called Spatial P5, where he created a tool for designers to learn how to code in VR. So you see the approaches can be very diverse, the format can be very diverse. We are very open to different approaches. And the year finishes with a final degree show. This is a collective exhibition. And very quickly, before I give the floor to Shakir and Maria, this is the skill that we touch on. As I said, design and research. We're going to go next year more into interactive web and machine learning tools. Our first year students are going to start the workshop after the intersemester, and everything related to multimodal and spatial interaction. This is something we're going to put more focus on starting next year. And for who is it? I think it's for designers who want to prototype, question, and invent the interaction of tomorrow. And I think it's mainly people who are curious and we're very, willing to research and want to iterate and prototype. And I think that's all we ask for, people who are very much curious to join the course. Now we'll let Maria Sarafi take the lead and tell us more a bit about the project she's done this semester, and then you can just tell me to go forward in the presentation, Maria.
Yes, thank you. So, hi everyone, I'm Maria. I'm a Greek-Swiss visual artist and have also a background in software engineering. And I'm really happy to be a first-year media design student. So let's start introducing some projects we did this semester. So Aeripon is our flying hippocampus is a pair of soft robotics beings inspired by the seahorses mating dance and by the myth of Icarus. They actually coexist with us in a domestic environment. And the one Aeripon is actually accumulating solar energy and also activating a projection controlled by an Arduino circuit. And the second Aeripon is monitoring the air quality. And the projection I mentioned, which is also the feature I implemented for this soft robotics workshop, is activated normally in lower light conditions and is projecting either fragments of a still image or a sequence of images that through rotation is creating this animation effect like Muybrid's early attempts. And of course, as Alexia mentioned, paper prototyping is always involved. And you can see on the photo also like the paper prototype. I applied the low polygon technique, geometry technique, which was inspired actually by 3D techniques.
And also what we can mention, this was a quite short project, right? It was like maybe,
yes.
10 days, and this was done in collaboration with the CNRS again, who wanted to collaborate with us a second time. That was quite short and intense.
Yes.
And that's another project that this was the first project, again, a 5 days project starting. That was the first semester thing I think you did, yeah.
Yes, actually, this was really the first workshop that we did, and it was a really great start to the program, and also a great introduction also to creative coding, and also to kind of having an iterative mode, and also collaborating with others. We were actually for Penguin Glider, 4 people, as you can see. It was me, Luca Correa, Elena Gazzarini, and Rocky Niang. And it is a game where we were following a penguin mother trying to arrive on time to feed her baby. And actually the player was navigating through various obstacles like gliding icebergs, polar bears, orcas, plastic waste. And the idea was exactly to create like a fun game of accomplishment, but on the same time also raise awareness about the human impact on the environment. That's why we integrated also the plastic waste as an obstacle in the game. And then in the next slide, we can see like a video how the game works.
Yeah, so that was a 5 days workshop, so very short, and students also had to learn how to work with AI prototyping tools and also to understand the limits of vibe coding and how do you quickly prototype.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yeah, and so Switchcapes is the next project that I will present, which was in collaboration with the Swiss Museum of Games in Switzerland. And Switchcapes was a project that I worked with Kostas Katkevicius together. And Switchcapes is actually a journey through the history and the symbolism of card suites, what we know as card symbols like hearts and spades. And it was really a journey to the history and symbolism of card suites and their associations to seasons, natural elements, and also human emotions. And the user, through face or hand gestures, as you can see on the photos, could unlock different seasonal landscapes inspired by card decks. So that's why we call them suitescapes. They could unlock also the associations to natural elements or stories about these card suites. And it was a very nature themed on our side project. That's why we experimented also with natural materials for the projection, for the installation of this experience, interactive experience.
Yeah, sorry, I got cut out for a second, so I hope it was okay. Oh yeah, there's the video.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was a longer project, and the brief of the museum was to really think about the playing card suit. And one of the project was selected actually, and is going to be produced in their next exhibition.
Okay.
Great, thank you, Maria.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Okay, great. Oh, I got scared for a second. Okay, so I'll start with my presentation. Thank you so much for introducing me earlier. I'm going to reintroduce myself with a brief introduction. You can go with the next slide. My name is Shakir Ali. I'm an artist and I'm based in Geneva. I've grown up in Geneva my whole life. I'm mostly a 3D artist, illustrator. My artist name is Grisaster, and I've done my bachelor in visual communication here at HED. And in my practice as an illustrator, I was really interested in exploring new ways to approach storytelling. And I think the master's program actually helped me find new ways to tell stories and to engage users in a more unique way that isn't just narrative driven and more interaction driven. For example, one of the first things that was very interesting for me, that also talks about my practice, which is about pointing at things that are not necessarily visible, that we don't often pay attention to. It was with Plaza Video Club, in which we worked with Matteo Loglio from Studio Ohio, and we worked for Plaza Foundation with Jean-Pierre Greff, who wanted us to create an installation around the theme of the history of cinema and how to get people interested in movies again. And this was a dual project during 10 days in which we had to create a very structural installation in which people could interact with. And so this is inspired by video clubs that have been erased by streaming platforms and algorithms. And what we wanted, me and my teammate Antonin Ricou, we wanted to recreate the interaction through that we have through video club clerks that give you a movie as a recommendation. So this object is basically a booth in which you put in your phone, and it takes a picture of your phone screen, and through analyzing the image of your lock screen, it gives you a movie that fits you and fits best your personality, and also takes you through the journey of why that is, why that choice was made, and what that could be. And so it was for me, a very fun experience, a very stressful 10 days also, but it was very fulfilling at the end to have a very functional object that people could really very much put into the machine and have, movies and talk to a sort of fake video store clerk and give it propositions of what movie they have. And at the end, you end with a sticker that is then printed, and you come out with a little bit thing that is about you and what movie fits you best. Also, not unlike the Plaza Video Club project, in which I was very interested in things that are often ubiquitous, was the soft robotics project that we had with CNRS that I found that was around the themes of domestics. What they wanted was to have us create soft robotics that could be embedded in a domestic context. My thematic was really about the context of like cables and why we always hide them, and why do we always have this sort of antagonistic relationship with them? We want to hide them, they're always in our feet. And with this object, I wanted to create a sort of appendix that could help the cable express itself and how we interact with it and how it doesn't like being kicked around or being pushed and sort of that nature. For this project, I did a whole lot of iteration, a lot of paper prototypes, a lot of research as well. I did a lot of interviews with people, why, for example, how they felt that the furniture in their houses were affected by the placement of outlets and cables, and how they felt that cables were very much a tether for them to be around on all this all at the same time. And it
Do you want
brought
me to
me
move
in.
forward or
Yeah.
later?
No, I was
okay.
just, yeah, but it brought me into more and more questioning things that are, you know, not necessarily noticeable. And in my master thesis, I have this same practice as well that I think I would not have been able to develop outside of the master's program. In this thesis, I wanted to write about the login experience. My first question was, why was the login experience designed this way today, and why wouldn't we be able to design it differently nowadays with the new technology that we have? Sort of find different applications of login technologies, and how can we make it more playful for people in the end to connect with the platform and to connect to online with an app. And so in my research, I asked myself, well, what are the cybersecurity issues? What are the questions that people ask nowadays? I also had a lot of surveys. I did something that was that also was very insightful in the end for me. I did a very broad historical research on why philosophically we use biometrics as a as a as a way to identify the body, and then I wanted to see why the login experience was designed this way through user surveys, asking people questions and how they feel about the things. We can move on to the next slide for now. I also did a lot of prototypes. In this case, I did prototypes of games that exemplify the login experience, so like a card game that exemplified it as well, and also a prototype of a platform that could be sort of a speculative way of logging in. I think nowadays we have a philosophy in which we want to get rid of the password because users are the weak link. That's what cybersecurities say in their security. And I wanted to, instead of taking them away from the equation, find a way to include them a little bit more and create more playful interactions. And in my practical project, I build on that research to create something that is more actionable. So for this practical project, which is still a work in progress, as you may understand, I've created I had the opportunity to create a lot more speculative login ideas and login things. One of the ideas that actually spoke to a lot of people was in the context of grocery shopping and wanting to connect to my grocery shopping account. I created a sort of one-time passcode in which the platform tells you that you need to buy a mango at Coop or Migros or Denner, and then you have to go to the grocery store and then buy that specific mango, and then go back to your computer, plug it in, and then it returns a one-time passcode. Sort of a dystopian look on what complicated login could be in the future. And I'm trying to, through narrative and through storytelling, find different ways, different objects that could make us rethink our relationship with those technologies that we have that are very much at the heart of human-computer interaction. And that sort of concludes my sort of presentation in a sense. I'm really also grateful for the master's program. I don't think outside of this master's program I would be able to put my brain and think a lot about those kind of questions. I don't think I think this is a very privileged experience for me to have the opportunity to have a context in which I can, put my skills to the test and also experiment and iterate with design and interactions that could, be possible new keys for the future. Yeah.
Thanks, Shakir. And well, if you were intrigued by Shakir's project, you can come back in June, come see us at Head Genève for the exhibition of the diploma project, and you'll see how much this project will evolve in the next 6 months. Cool. So I'm just going to finish with some quick practical info, and then we'll open up for questions. The course is taught in English. Professors and visiting lecturers will teach in English, and we have students coming from all over the world, different background. We have people who've come from textile design, visual communication, engineering, product design. So I think it's kind of a moment also where you also get to learn from your peers, also then as well from the professors, but also mostly from your peers, because everyone has their own expertise in another field. It's 4 semester, 120 ECTS credits. It's full-time. I repeat, it's full-time, quite intense, Monday to Friday. And there is an optional internship where you can do that between the first year and the second year as well, if you want. There are no technical prerequisites. That's a question I get often. But starting this year, we will offer catch-up classes for people who's never done UX, UI, or creative coding before starting the academic year, so you can already rely on a foundation before you start the class. But you shouldn't be afraid about the technical aspect of the course. Number one, because as I said, this is not the only focus of the course. We also really make sure that you are taught all the methodological ways of doing interaction design. And second, our team is very used to teach to beginners, and we adapt to the level of the class. This is the team. We all have our own area of research that we do. I focus mainly on video game and fashion, as well as machine learning practices for designers. And this is the list of visiting lectures that we are lucky to have each year. Lex Fefega, Laure Crayon-Boulle, Timur, I'm not going to read every one of them, but Computational Mama, they all come from different fields, and they all bring amazing insight and very precise expertise. And yeah, our students also get to have recognition outside of the course. As I mentioned, Color to Life was nominated at the Design Prize twice. Annie Rashid won Best Design 2025 Hofparter Prize in Zurich with her diploma project, and Tibor Udvari got to showcase his project at SIGGRAPH, which is one of the oldest tech conference, I think. And what's next after the program? Well, I think interaction design can allow you to carry on in a very broad, I will say, diversity of careers. Our alumni usually, some of them decide to start their own game studios, or they join an incubator such as Pulse that we have here in Geneva. Some go to work in creative industries, as it could be interaction designers, creative technologists, XR designer, and others decide to do research and go on to do a PhD. This is the list of our alumni that you'll see how diverse they are. If you want to take a screenshot and Google them and see what they're up to, you'll see that they're all doing amazing, fun projects, but you also see the diversity of profile that comes out of our course. And yeah, this is media design. The deadline to apply is the 23rd of March, 2026 at 5 p.m. You'll find all the information on Head Genève website. And you can also follow us on Instagram if you want to see updates and anything related to the course. Thank you so much for your attention, and I'll be happy to answer any question you might have. I don't know if you have questions. Feel free to post them in the chat. Can people post stuff in the chat, I hope? Testing chat. Thank you so much for testing the chat. Now I feel reassured that it's working. Cool. The catch-up classes before the school year, are they in person only? So that's a great question. Thank you, Ellie. To be honest, this is the first year we're going to do it. We do it because we feel that it would be good for some students to feel more confident in their skills before joining the course, because if you never coded before, you might feel a bit intimidated, and we want to demystify it. I will say that they might be in person, but again, those classes will be optional. We can also find a way to, I think they might be in person, yeah, but they will be like 2 weeks before the class start. And usually the class start in September, 16th of September. So that will be 2 weeks prior to that. All good for me, no question. Thanks, great. Leonard, what do you expect to see in a portfolio? Well, maybe I answer, maybe Maria and Shakir, you can also say a few words about your portfolio. I think for your portfolio, make sure that you edit and that you really showcase project that represents what you love, represent what's dear to your heart, what really, makes you wake up in the morning, but also try to show us what you want to do in the course, like maybe you want to show us references, project that you like. It doesn't have to be only things that you did. It could also be books. It could be, I think we really want to see how much do you know about the field and how much do you want to engage with it. Maybe Shakir, do you want to say a few words about the portfolio?
Yeah, I think what's the key aspect that should be present in a portfolio is your positioning as a designer. I think from a strong portfolio is something that can tell us what you like to research, what you like to design around. Also for me, for my portfolio, I put a lot of different projects about my skills and also what sort of interests me more so in my practice. I was very interested at the time, and still I'm interested in scientific communication and creating these interactions to teach people about science and stuff like that. So I put that very much at the front of my portfolio, and I think if you have something that speaks to you in a specific way that really is important to you and that is very present in your projects, that will be probably a stepping tool for you to present yourself.
Maria, do you want to add anything or?
I think I agree with Sakir that you have to show who you are, like really showcase your practice and what you are interested in. And I think it's also important if you can kind of already in the portfolio include some references that are also related to the program and to the things that you want to explore more in the context of the program and in the near future.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much, Shakir and Marie. I'm a student, so this is Laurie. I'm a student from HEGVD in media engineering, and I don't have a lot of artistic projects. Do you think it can be a problem? Well, I think we have people from HEGVD joining the course each year. We have, well, maybe I shouldn't say their name because I don't want to say in the course, but we have Tara in the second year, and we have Luca, Ariane, and Anthony, who are in the first year. And no, it's not a problem because we have engineers joining the course each year. Again, I will recommend that you just present what you want, but also be very honest about why you want to join the course and what you are interested in. Again, we are not here to judge. It's really just to make sure that the program will be a good fit for you, because the truth is, doing a master's program is often one lifetime opportunity. We don't get to do that often, so we want to make sure that the students we select will be happy to work with us and find what they're looking for. So if you don't have artistic project, I wouldn't feel bad about it. I will just maybe add references, maybe design project that you like, just to give us a sense of what you are interested in, basically. I don't know if that answers your question. Also, are there scholarships offered for international students? So yes, yes, there are. I'm just going to put the link. Just give me a sec.
I can put it if you want to have that
you
one.
do? Okay, cool. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thanks, Shakir. Thank you so much. Yes, there are. I think for this, it is best to reach out to this email address to have all the proper information, because I don't want to say something that is false, because for the reason why I'm saying that is because some grants are given to students only in the second year. Like if you're an international student and you come in Switzerland, you might have grants only in the second year, not in the first year, and some grants will give you for the first year and second year. So my advice will be to reach out to this address that also Shakir put. No, more the admission, sorry.
Yeah.
The one so the admission.head at hesg.ch. And let me try to also see if there is on the website. If you go on the website here, you also have all the information related to the admission. I just want to see if there's, because in the often asked question, maybe there is someone. Okay.
I think typically maybe Émilie Parando is
very. But I think for the admission, it's best to write to the admission because Émilie takes care of the students and. Okay. Here you go. That's what. Yeah. Okay. So I don't know if you are a foreigner or if you're a Swiss citizen. So apologize if I'm, but this is where you can find some information about the fees and scholarship help. Yeah. So I hope that helped. But I will look at those links, and then if you have more questions, I will reach out to admission.ch. So this address, and it's this for everyone. If you have specific question, you can reach out to them. Cool. There's someone is raising the hand, but I think you might need to.
Do I allow the mic or?
Yeah, we can allow the mic. Go ahead.
Normally it should be allowed now.
I don't know. Someone raised the hand, but I don't know.
YS. If you want, you can write in chat also.
Yes. Do you hear me?
Oh yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm unable to chat actually. It's blocked.
Oh, okay. No worries.
That's why. Cool. That's why I raised my hand.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. My name is Yasser. I'm a 3D designer. Also, I have a very diverse background in UI UX. And I have a question because I will be in my portfolio. I'll be presenting projects that I worked on the last 10 years. But I have projects that they are like independent projects that are not finished yet, like prototypes for. Can I put that in my portfolio, even it will take a big portion of it?
What do you think, Shakir? You want to answer that one?
I think 100. Yeah, 100%. I think it's much more interesting to see prototypes and unfinished projects because we can know that the process of the things is definitely more interesting than an end product, I think, for me personally. And it also tells us more about your practice as a 3D artist, 3D designer of the things that you do, and maybe more about your expectations of what the project could be and why that project isn't finished or why you had to do things differently. I think that could be really fun for you. I think for me, definitely seeing unfinished project in a portfolio is fine.
Yeah, I think it's totally fine. My additional advice will be to edit. So let's say, like, if you've been working because for example, Maria, she had a whole career before joining, the course, and she still has a career ongoing. So I think the point is really to edit, and maybe you don't put everything, but you choose like 8 or 10 projects or maybe 6, and you're like, yeah, this is what represents me right now, and this is what I want to keep doing, or this is, where I want to improve. I think that's also very important. I hope that answers your question.
I see that. Thank you. Perfect. Yes.
Nice. Thank you.
Thanks.
Great. I don't know if you're still here or not, because I know you're in Greece, so maybe you have like connection issues.
But... Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, cool. Because you are frozen. Sure. Okay, cool. Well, I don't know if there are more questions. It seems I can wait for like another 1 minute if there's anyone who has a question. But yeah, if anything else pops up, you can ask your question to admission.head@hsgeo.ch. And yeah, that was great. Thank you so much for participating. Oh, there's someone. What is the cohort size? It's between, I will say, 12 to 16 students, depending on who is joining the course. I will say fairly small.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's something maybe Shakir and Maria, maybe you can talk a bit about the studio culture, in the course, and then maybe we can stop there.
So since for my year, we're actually 12 to 11 people because one of them went to Brazil. So we were a really short class, and we have this culture of coming very often to class. Even when we're in a sort of working on our own and we're out and doing field research, we always sort of reconvene, even outside of hours, to talk about how our project is going and what kind of direction we're taking, and if we should take that direction or not. We kind of give each other criticism, and we have testing days really often. I think we really rely on each other a lot. I think there's this culture where we really help each other within the class. So at least within the studio culture, we definitely have something that's very open, specifically because we're also in an open space area, and we try to really take up the space and design the space as we like. Yeah.
Maria, do you want to say a few words?
Yes, I agree with Shakir. For example, in the first year, we are like 15 people, but then what is also interesting, there is also the exchange program. So we have also people coming from other schools, and generally there is really a very collaborative and interactive spirit among us. And regardless if we work in a group or alone, it's we are really on the same space, sharing ideas, interacting, giving feedback. It's really a very creative and inspiring environment, I would say. And it's also very interesting that we are people from different backgrounds, and it's also interesting too. Some have very high skills in some areas, some in other areas, and there is really a very beautiful exchange and collaboration.
Yeah, and I will finish on that. Thank you so much, Shakir and Maya. You know, something it's important to know that we teach in person. And the format of the workshop is often like this. We start at 9 a.m. and we give technical input or methodological input or theoretical input, and then we work together throughout the day, basically either in group or alone. And the teachers are here, and we do tutorials throughout the day, and we guide you. We also have assistants in the course who comes in. If you're stuck on your project technically or conceptually, they can also come and jump and help. But I think you really need to like being in a group and working in a group, because that's also what interaction design is about. You know, it's very, very rare that you get to do interaction design just by yourself. So that's why we have a very collaborative environment. All right. Well, thank you, Maria. Thank you, Shakir, for joining me tonight. Thank you to everyone who took the time to connect and learn about our program. Oh, okay.
Yep.
There's a question. Okay, last question. I'm a student from Visual Communication, CV3 in Head. Okay, I don't know you, Carlos. Maybe I've seen you in the corridor. And I'm waiting for my B2 English diploma to be able to join the course. I was wondering if there's other master's similar that I could look in case I don't get my B2 diploma, but I hope for the best. Yeah, I mean, there are many other courses, you know. I think I wouldn't worry too much about the B2 English diploma. It's true that it's a requirement, a language requirement, but you can just take the Duolingo test, which is, I think, really easy. Just the only thing is look at the camera. Don't turn the head. That's the only thing I will say. But I think the diploma, Margarita, sorry, I thought that was Carol's word. Sorry, Margarita. So you know, I think the Duolingo one is fine. And yeah, there are tons of other interaction design program. I don't know right now some of them, but yeah, like you can also. But if you look at the HDK in Zurich, also gonna be in English. So. Okay, Shakir said I did the Duolingo test. It's cheaper and give the results quickly. So everyone do the Duolingo test. It's cheaper. And so maybe, Margarita, you can come to see Shakir in the 3rd floor and he will help you with that. I made a BA in art visual in 2024. Do you think it could make sense for me to do that, Aimé? Well, I don't know your practice. I don't know what you are looking for. I think I will say that switching from visual arts to design is a change of culture. maybe Maria can also say a few words about that because she comes from visual arts. You know, it's I think if you are curious and you are willing to work from briefs, because we work with partners, so in very applied context, then yes. If you are more interested in I will say pursuing your own practice from your artist point of view, then I will say maybe Workmaster or a more like open visual art program might be more suited for you. But we have students coming from visual arts, and you know, I think the ones who are very happy in the course are the ones who were very curious about design and wanted to learn a new set of skills. But what I can also suggest, maybe Maria, you can say a few words, and I will share the portfolio review session.
Yes, actually, I really agree with what you just said. That for me, for example, in my case, I wanted to really have more like photographic and video background, and exploring also more and more sound. But for me, it was really important to explore also interaction design, 3D, being able to do more immersive and interactive installations. And I have to say, from the experience and also creative coding, for example, opens so many doors and so many possibilities. So for me, it's like acquiring a skill set that can even broader and even more, and give me even more possibilities in my visual arts practice. So
yeah, but
I hope it has been helpful.
Yeah, but you need to be willing and okay to work for more applied partner. You know, for example, this year we worked for Chanel, and you might not agree with that. You know, that's also something that I want to be very clear, is that we have those type of collaboration. Maurice, same question as Leah, but I also did a graphic design apprenticeship, so I have a strong interest in digital media. Yes, I mean, you know what I can suggest? Again, if you are interested in interaction design, learning how to work with emerging technologies, then that's definitely the course for you. We are not a media art course. I do want to say that. You know, we are very much working within applied context, but we do allow innovative and personal practices within those contexts. But what I will suggest, maybe for Maurice and Leah, if you have time, and also for, sorry, YS, because we didn't see your name if you're still there. I put in the chat the portfolio reviews, and you can join on the 23rd and 24th of February. You can book a slot and talk to the assistant of the program, and they will help you, you know, prepare your portfolio and maybe answer further questions that you might have. So I'm just going to quickly show everyone where to go there. If you go on head website and you click on admission, I'm going to put this in English. You click on admission and you go, sorry, the website is not very user-friendly. You go here, 2026 dates and registration. Media design, register here, and then you can click here and you have the 2 dates, and here you see the slots. So the slots are still available, so you can click on one and you can register, and then you have a slot that is booked, and then we can answer questions that you might have about your portfolio or the course. Great. Let's finish here. Thank you everyone for your time. Thanks Maria, thanks Shakir. And yeah, good luck to everyone with your project and future endeavors. Bye-bye, thank you.